Good day. Why is it that when we have two people, let's say an old person, 60 years old, is talking to a 25 years old teenager, they can never agree on a subject or on a matter? Why is it that when usually old people, 65 years old, for example, just an example, not being discriminate, they always say, young people, they just don't get it. They don't understand reality. They are emotional, irrational. Now let's go and talk to the 20 or 25 years old teenagers and tell them, how do you see talking to 60 or 65 years old adult? They would come and say, he or she is rigid, conservative, and most of the time outdated. Now, this psychological perception justifies and explains why when we put them together, they end up sparking fire all over the place. So today's episode is talking about generational differences. Let's explain the concept. When we say generational differences, it means that a group of people, they share a common set of values, beliefs, and they interact by representing themselves and interacting with reality around them and with them in a specific way. So for example, just to symbolize things, people are born in the 80s would think differently than people are born in the 2000, 2010, and 2020. Now, what's the difference? Aren't we all human beings? Yes, we are all human beings. But actually what really changes things is the surrounding environment. So for example, right now we're talking about iPod, iPad, we're talking about flat TV, we're talking about satellite link, we're talking about a huge and massive technology revolution. If we compare it to the 80s, people were really on a static move, relaxed, laid back. They see things more of 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, now, given that we have such a reality, is this supposed to be a bad or a catastrophic thing? The answer is no. It might, by the way, end up to be something positive. Let me share with you this experience. In any organization or in lifetime, you need 2 or 3 types of thinking to face and understand a situation. If I analyze a situation based on one way of thinking, this will be biased to this approach. It might be positive, it might be good. However, it does not give me the full spectrum of the understanding. There is an interesting story I've been told about, is existing on YouTube, that in the United States, there was, on the highway, there was a truck, and this truck was higher than the bridge, and this truck couldn't bypass the bridge. So civil defense, police, firefighters, everybody just come, and they just couldn't get the truck to bypass the bridge. A father was escorting his son. The son, maybe 8 or 10 years old, asked his father, "What's happening, Dad?" And the father says, "There's a truck, we cannot bypass it by the bridge." Do you know what the kid says? "Why don't you deflate the tires of the truck, pull it, and then inflate it and let it go?" After the break, we'll continue the story. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So to continue the story, the kid told his father, "Why don't we deflate the tire?" When the father went and proposed this, tires were deflated. Guess what? Magic happens. The truck went through. Now, my question is, we're talking about all specialized people, grown-up people, mature people couldn't figure it out. Why? Because this is what we call the generational bias, the blind spot. You need young people to inject new ideas and perspectives. Now, after we've established this logic, let's now quickly introduce the similarities and differences within the context of work. Usually, older people tend to be more conservative, and younger people tend to be more dynamic. Now, although they are contradicting qualities, however, they are very, very, very important to reflect on different perspectives and understandings. Also, older people tend to be very stability-oriented. Younger people tend to be toward more continuous change. Now, meaning older people, they don't like risk. Younger people can take risk. Now, from business perspective, in some cases, we need to indulge risk. I mean, risk is something we cannot avoid. We need to live with. Another difference is thinking process. Older people tend to be slow, relaxed. Younger generation tend to be fast, high processor. The type of knowledge exposed to the older people is totally different and in some cases outdated to younger people. Now, also there is another approach, which is people interaction. Older people, they tend to deal with younger people based on boss relationship, vertical. Younger people tend to deal with people on a horizontal level, which is a colleague. We're talking about two different attitudes of people management here. Now, can we have a group of people where they have two different perspectives of age? Yes. Different generations. In fact, some research suggests if you want to have a productive meeting for thinking about planning and perception of new ideas, you need to have mixed generations together. They will fight? Yes, they might. They will argue? Yes, they will. Will they go negative? Yes. However, reality says, at the end of the day, they will finish their meeting with a smile on their face because they complemented each other. This complementarity issue, the synergy perspective, provides this logic. Now, just to conclude this logic, is older people better than younger people? Not necessarily. We're talking here about quality of output. They might be both positive to us. Is it necessarily that when a young person gives you an idea, it means that this person is not thinking fruitfully? No, this is totally wrong. Younger people also give new ideas, but maybe, hold on a sec, we're not used to it because we are not used to the concept they're thinking of, the language, the way. This is the generation of the iPad and the iPod. Older generation is the flat, is the traditional TV, paper and work. We're talking about two different methodologies to reach one Rome. I hope this was helpful. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.